Hey everybody, Anthony here with Miller Bison. So today we are fixing to smoke us up some short ribs. If you haven't done short ribs before, you need to. They are awesome. One of my favorite slow cooks is a short rib. So we've had these soaking for overnight in a salt brine solution, and I'll show you guys here a little bit. So the other thing we do here, you can see the back, here's the rib bones. We cut the silver off the back of it. So you can see it right there. It's a little hard to see, but there's like a little silver lining. It's called a silver skin on the back here that we cut off, just so you don't have to mess with it when you're trying to eat it then. You don't have to, but we like to. Just takes a little extra step, makes it a little nicer for eating. So with that, we've soaked them overnight in a salt brine. We said a quarter cup of salt per quart of water is the ratio that we use. It does a phenomenal job. We don't put any other seasonings in whatsoever. I got my smoker set at 225 here, got it preheated, and we're gonna go ahead and smoke it for about 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and then we'll come back and we'll pull it off. We're gonna wrap everything in tin foil to maintain the moisture in it, and then we'll go in and put it in the oven at 225 for another about 5 hours or so. So I like total, we usually do anywhere from 8 to 10 hours total at 225. So let's go ahead and get them thrown on the smoker here. One other thing that we always like to do with our short ribs, since they do have bone in them, and whenever you cut bone, there's going to be bone chips, we make sure and rinse them off in cold water before we put them in the salt brine. That way you don't, when you're eating, you won't be biting into bone chips, that kind of stuff. That's not much fun when you do that. So just a little tip there, something to do. Wow, that one's got a lot of meat on them. The other awesome thing about short ribs is a lot of these slow cooked meats, you'll find, we got a big party going here tonight, but when I say a big party, we got some friends coming over here tonight, and so we're doing a bunch up. But one cool thing about short ribs and brisket, that kind of stuff, is you can cook them up, smoke them up like this. Then you can take your leftovers, whatever you got left over, and wrap it up in tin foil, put it in a plastic bag, throw it in the freezer. And you want short ribs down the road, guess what? Just pull them out, throw them in the oven at 225, warm them up, and you'll have some fine dining. Most meat I don't really care for warmed up the second time around, like steak, that kind of stuff, but short ribs, brisket, anything like that, you can definitely warm it up again in the oven and it'll be awesome. The biggest thing with bison short ribs like this is they're very lean meat, so you do want to make sure and wrap them up for the last part of the cooking so that they don't dry out, because otherwise they'll dry out on you pretty bad if you don't, and then it's no fun eating dry meat. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let it sit. Be about 4.5 hours here towards noon. We'll pull it off and get them wrapped up, ready for the oven. Oh yeah, look at that. That's some good looking meat right there. So we're gonna let her sit here for about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. People think that smoking, barbecuing type stuff is complicated, it's tough. It's not, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. So you just gotta get out there and do it. Once you do it, you're gonna get hooked, and then you'll wonder where you've been all this time. So, all right, so we've had these on the smoker here for about 4.5 hours. Oh, if that doesn't look good, I don't know what does. There's gonna be smoked ribs tonight. That is absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Okay, so we've had these short ribs on here for about 4.5 hours. We're gonna pull them off, take them inside, put them in the oven, and finish them out there. We're gonna wrap them up in tin foil so we can maintain their moisture, but they are looking phenomenal. I'm excited. This is gonna be some good eating. And just look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? Okay, so right here we've got all of our short ribs sitting here, and we're fixing to wrap them up in 2 different containers here, and then we will finish them out in the oven. So we'll stack these short ribs in here, wrap them up nice and tight. That way it's going to help maintain the moisture, so they'll be really nice and juicy. Okay, just like that, we've got all our short ribs wrapped up, ready to go in the oven. We'll put it in there another 225. We'll leave them in there for about another 4 or 5 hours. They'll be good to go. All right, so we got our short ribs here. So after they've been on the smoker for about 4.5 hours, and then we'll pull them out, put them in the, wrap them in tin foil like this, put them in the oven for another 4 or 5 hours. Probably shoot for more like 5 hours. Typically I like to, once we're done with them in the oven, pull them out and let them rest for at least 15 minutes or so, just to let things cool down a little bit, let the juice settle in before we open them up and start eating on them. So let's check out some short ribs. Ooh, look at these. They're tender. They're gonna be really tender. Ooh, they're falling apart on me. Look at that. The bone fell right out of the bottom of them. Ain't that awesome? Just pulls right apart. That is some good short ribs. Amazing flavor. Look at that. Just look at this, guys. Just literally grab it and just pull it apart with the little pinchers. Incredible. No need to get crazy with seasonings, folks. These things, the flavor is phenomenal, and all it's had on it is the salt brine that we've soaked it in. So remember that. No need to go crazy on seasoning stuff. Just use a good salt brine, soak it overnight, put it on the smoker for about 4 to 5 hours, wrap them in tin foil, put them in the oven for another 4 to 5 hours at 225 the whole way through. Guaranteed you'll love it. Amazing bison short ribs. You can't go wrong on it. All right, thank you. You guys have a great day.